Well, here we go. GE 103, week 10. We're going to build a 3D toolbar as we move into 3D modeling using AutoCAD. So let's get rid of that. And here we are. Here's our standard AutoCAD ribbon. This is our standard annotation layout. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to close this little box right here. I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom of my right-hand side of my bottom of my screen, and you're going to see all our familiar icons we have here. There's our customization icons right there for all the things that we turn on and off. But the one I'm interested in is right here. It's called Workspace Switching. Okay, I'm going to click on that, and you're going to see right now highlighted is Drafting and Annotation. Below it is 3D Basics and then 3D Modeling. Okay, and then there's Classic AutoCAD. And by the way, this is the last year that we're going to have Classic AutoCAD. You should check that off sometime and see what it looks like. Okay, we're going to go 3D Modeling and check on that. And you can see that our ribbon has changed. We have a completely new ribbon up here, all set for 3D modeling. I'm going to pull up my command line so that you can see me as I type things in. And everything that we need for 3D modeling is up here. We have our modeling tab here. Okay, if you do the drop downs for the extrude, you can see we can extrude, loft, revolve, and sweep. For our geometry, we have a box, a cylinder, a cone, a sphere, pyramid, wedge, and a torus. Okay, all those things are there for us as we need them. And then we have also smooth objects that we can, with meshes that we can play with there. And we can set our mesh parameters if we would need to. Then we have essentially our solid editing, which is solid union, subtract, which we use a lot of, and solid intersect, which we rarely use. We also have slice, which I use quite a bit of. We have interface, which I don't use much of, and thicken, which we could use occasionally. And then we have separate, shell, and clean up. Okay. We can also drop down extrude faces. All these are essentially how we model the geometry, how we move it around, how we taper it, delete it, all those things. And so those are the main things we're going to be using. We do very little drawing in AutoCAD, but I'm going to show you about that. We have our standard modification ribbon here, and up here this is the important one, 3D rotate, but we're going to build that ourselves. And we can also section plane here. This is interesting. Up here, 2D wireframe. Here's all the different kinds of shading that we can use in AutoCAD modeling. Okay. But the first thing I want to do is I want to build a toolbar, and it's really important to know how to build a toolbar, because you're going to want to customize AutoCAD where you're not always reaching up and trying to find things up on the ribbon. There's certain commands you use all the time, and that I can just lay them right across here in a little toolbar. So I'm going to type in hyphen toolbar. As you see, it comes right up. And then it asks me, what's the name of the toolbar that you want? Well, the easiest one is UCS. You just need one toolbar to begin with. So I'm going to hit UCS, type in UCS, and I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to hit S for show, and there is my UCS toolbar. Okay. Now I'm actually not going to use the UCS toolbar. I just wanted one to get me started. Once I have a toolbar, then I can do all kinds of really cool things. If I right-click on the toolbar, you can see all the toolbars that are available to us. So the first one I'm going to do is pick UCS2, because I am going to use that. Okay, and then you can go to that one and then click on it. I'm a big fan of properties, so I'm going to go down and find that one. I'm going to go big fan of layers. I'm going to go find that one. And you just move them and drop them in place right there. Okay. I can close this one out because I don't need that one anymore. And now here's how we're going to build a toolbar. So this is important. So right click on a toolbar, go all the way down to customize. all the way down to customize. Okay, you're going to get the customization user interface, and that is also available through Manage. Let's see if we can go to Manage, and is that true? Dun-dun-dun. Yeah, it's right over here. It's the CUI, so I can pick on that, and we get the. It's a little bit different looking, and in fact, it's a little easier to view than the one I had. So here we go. So here's all the tool. If we go click on toolbars right there, you can see all the toolbars that we previously looked at. If we again go back here and see if I can't open them both at the same time, so that's an issue. But you can see that these are all the same toolbars that we had. There's the UCS and UCS2 and workspaces, all those. Okay, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to go right here to toolbars, and we're going to, where it's highlighted, we're going to right click on it, and we're going to click on the new toolbar. Okay, notice that it happens right here, and I'm going to type in Doug's 3D toolbar. You can name it anything you want, but you can create all kinds of toolbars that you can turn on and off later on. Okay. So there we go. There's Doug's 3D toolbar. Okay. Now I'm going to go Apply and OK. And right up here, you should see a little toolbar just with nothing on it. Okay. And if I hover over it, and you can see that that's Doug's toolbar. Now, my UCS2 disappeared, but we'll worry about that later. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do here is right-click on this, and I'm going to scroll down. Go to Customize, and we're going to get back to the UCS interface again. So I'm going to go up here to All Files, and there we are. That's our interface right there. Okay. So, and there's Doug's toolbar right there. So one of the commands that I want is I want to have a command that I am going to call 3D rotate right there. And I'm going to pick on that, and I'm going to drag it up and put it in my toolbar. Okay? And let's go Apply. And you can see it's right there in my toolbar. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this as I go along. I'm going to put a few that I use all the time in here. But then as we go along, I may be going back and getting more tools to put in my toolbar. Okay. So now that I have my little beginning of my 3D toolbar, I'm just going to grab this thing here and drag it up here, drop it up there. I'm going to, again, remember now that I have a toolbar, I can right click and go get all my other toolbars. So I'm going to go get my layers toolbar. I'm going to go get my properties toolbar. I'm going to right click again and go down and get my UCS toolbar. This is one of the most important toolbars for doing 3D is the USC2 toolbar right there. UCS2 toolbar. Okay? It's a really, really important toolbar. Okay, so I'm going to take this and move this over to the side a little bit here, just so you can see the commands that I'm putting in as we go along. Now, for the first time, we're going to be using these items here, which is our view cube and our toolbar here. Okay, and so here's a fun thing. Go up to this little house right here and pick the house, and look what happened. Look at everything went into a new UCS, and it's in a 3D format. Okay, we have a pan here that we can just drag around. Okay. We can zoom in. This is like a zoom extents. So we click that. This is orbit. If we want to move things around just by, there we go, moving them around like that. Okay. And you can always go back to home. If you hit the left here, sure, Doug. Oop. Oh, I crashed my AutoCAD. Bummer. Bummer. Well, now that I've recovered from fully crashing AutoCAD, we'll get back to this. So, again, I'm just going to go up to the little house up here and click on that. That's my home. Okay, and you can see. Now, then if I'm in home view, if I hit top, you can see that goes back to something that we recognized. So top is what we know, which is X and Y. That's our X and Y. Okay, if we go back to home, we can see that there is now a Z-axis in this direction here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start and play a little bit with this. Let's do something very simple. Let's go over here to the box, and we're going to pick the box, and it's going to come up here, box, specify first corner. So I could either put, I'm going to put 0, 0, and that's going to be on the X and the Y. Okay. Oh, let me try that again. 0, 0. There we go. And you can see that it started in that corner, the bottom left-hand corner. And then it says specify the other corners. So how about 2, 2? Okay. And then it wants a height, and I'm going to go 3. There we go. Now you can see right now, if we look up here in Visual Styles, right up here in View, Visual Styles, it's in wireframe. Let's go up here and click, and let's go to Conceptual. There we go. Now look at that. We have a whole new view of that. I can go into my orbit here, and you can see it's sitting on top of the mesh, which is the 0, 0, XY, and we are going vertically up. Okay. Go back to home. Okay. Now, notice how the sides are tapered here. Okay, can you see that? That has to do with how we're viewing this. So if I go over here to the little house and right-click on that, I'm going to put it into, it's right now in perspective, which personally I don't like. Some people do, and if you do, you can draw that way. It's great. But I'm from now going to go into parallel. Okay. And the other thing, to keep it in there, I'm going to go over here and set current view as home. Now it'll always stay in parallel as opposed to perspective. Okay. But at any time you can go back and change it. Okay. So let's go over here and see what else we got here. Well, we have a box. Let's not get too carried away. Let's go over here and see what we can do with this box. How about if we extrude it? Okay, so I'm going to pick I can't extrude it because it's already a solid. Okay, it's already a solid. But what I could do is I could go over here to my drawing tools, and I could pick a polygon. And we know about our polygons, right? So enter a number side. So I'm going to go 6. How about that? Enter. Pick the center of the polygon. It's always going to pick it on this plane down here, which is the X and the Y. Okay. I want to inscribe it. Okay. And I'm going to come out here and I'm going to put it at 3. Okay. So now I have a piece of geometry, and it has to be a polyline. It cannot be individual pieces. In fact, I'm going to show you what it would look like. I'm going to copy this, drag that right over there. Okay. And first of all, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go to my extrude command. And I'm going to pick this, pick the edge, then hit enter, and then pull up. And I can pull up any amount that I want. So I'm going to go 3. It should be the same height as this one over here. Now I'm going to go over here to this polyline. I'm going to hit X. And then I'm going to go extrude. And I'm going to do a crossing box. Okay. Hit enter. And look at that. These are just walls. You can see. These are just walls. They are they have absolutely no thickness to them. They are just walls, okay? These are a mesh. That's what that is, okay? But we're working with solids, so let's keep working with that. So I'm going to throw that away. Okay. Let's go back over to the box, and let's go to the cylinder, and let's pick a point, and pick a point. And I'm not, notice I didn't put any geometry in, so these are just random points that I'm picking. Cone. It's a lot like working with the Google SketchUp. Sphere. Now the sphere is interesting because it goes on both sides of the plane. The center of the sphere, the only geometry in this object here is the very center of the sphere. It's interesting working with spheres. You always have to remember where the center of the geometry is, because that's all, you have no quadrants, anything else. Now the cone, I got quadrants on the cone. Okay, down there. On the cylinder, I have quadrants down here too, and I have the center. Okay, and I have the extruded height, which I can go ahead and move. Okay, pyramid. Okay, now notice how it wants to turn. So if I hit F8, it should snap into ortho. Pick a point and then lift it up. Can I go down below? I certainly can. Look at that. So if we go into front view, look at that. There we go. Okay. Now we are doing everything from the top view or the world view right now. Notice right up here in our UCS, it says world. Okay. This is going to become really important when you start to work with this, because if you want to do something in another plane, you have to change that. If I want to draw in the front plane, I need to change this to front. You're going to see what happens. Look at my background. Notice it moved to a vertical. So now if I go to pyramid and pick a point, oh, look at that. It's coming this way. And that's because I put this in front. Okay? Now if I hit escape and then go back to world, I still have access to that object, but it's in a different plane. This is the interesting part of 3D. You have to work within a plane. The wedge, which I can never do, because I never can figure out which way it's going to go, because I don't use it enough. Okay? And finally, the good old torus. Donut. Donut. We like donuts. Okay. So these are how we make our solid objects. You notice I could draw one. Okay. I can go up here, and if I go to polyline right up here and pick polyline, and I just draw a bunch of stuff, and I go out of ortho, it's always going to stay in this plane, but it's going to, okay. And then I need to go in here and trim that. Okay. Now that's a polyline. Notice how it's lighting up all the way around. I should be able to go to extrude and extrude it. So I have all this geometry that I can now turn into solids. How do I know it's a solid? Well, let's go do this. Let's move that right there. In fact, I'm going to put it right there like that, okay? And I'm going to go up here to subtract. Solid subtract. I'm going to pick the object I want to subtract from, enter, and pick the object I want to subtract. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay. How about if we take our sphere? The only place I can grab the sphere is in the center of it. And, oop, I can find geometry up here, though. Look at that. Let's go to subtract and pick that. Enter. Oh, cool. This is kind of cool looking. There we go. Okay. Let's take this little object here and move it. And let's put that corner right up here on that corner there. Okay. And I'm going to go to Union, and I'm going to pick both pieces and hit enter, and now that is all one piece. Okay, oops, excuse me. That is all one piece. So that's part of that object alt now. Okay. And what What else we got here? Oh, we got our, let's move this. We can move it from this plane and put it over here. Now notice I can't get above the plane, but watch what happens if I do this. I go to front, okay? I go into 3D here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to front, move my UCS2 to front. Now I should be able to move this and put it anywhere I want and attach it over here, okay? Notice that it's moving through this object. I move it over just a little bit more, and then go up here and hit subtract. Take this object here, enter, select the object we want to subtract, and we just put a big old hole through that. Right there, okay. When you move around, when you're in a different plane, it doesn't move the same. So I always go back to world, and then I can hit, and then I know where I'm at. Okay, and I can take my orbit and look at that. You can see how powerful this is. It's keeping track of all that geometry. Okay, well that's enough for right now, and I'll post this, and we're going to start playing with 3D starting on Tuesday.